Okay, before we get into the meat of this video real quick, this just came in the mail and I did want to mention it for those of you that have been sort of like waiting on my thoughts. I know that there's a few of you that have asked me about this, but Skylar just released Magic Bloom as a full-size permanent scent to the collection. And if you guys remember, Magic Bloom was it was the very first scent of the Scent Club. It was my favorite and still remains my favorite. I think they only updated the packaging. From what I can tell, they haven't updated the formula or scent notes or anything like that. So Magic Bloom is bright, juicy, and tart with scent notes of pear, yuzu, and magnolia. And it's like everything that I want in perfume. It's a little bit fruity, it's a little bit floral, it's a little bit citrusy. Like this literally is my signature scent. So like I said, they've updated the packaging a little bit. So it's sort of this, what would you call that? Holographic maybe, or like rainbow. I don't know, it's pretty. So that's what they've updated the packaging to, because before it was like a yellow with some like flowers or something on it. And then here you go. Here's just the little bottle. So yeah, if you loved the original, it's exactly the same, it's just updated packaging. Or if you've never tried it and you are partial to floral, citrusy, fruity scents, I mean, this is my absolute favorite. So I'm gonna leave the link down below. You can get it in this big size for $78, though I do have a 20% off discount code you can use, so you never have to pay full price. And it also comes in the Rolly size, which is the size that's in the Scent Club, and I think those are $29. And again, I have a discount code you can use. So yeah, I'll leave the links for that down below in case you're interested in my thoughts. I'll probably mention that in a few more videos, just because I want to make sure that whoever, because not everybody watches all my videos, I want to make sure whoever watches my videos and wants to know about this knows that it came in and my thoughts on it. So if you hear me talk about that a few more times, I'm sorry, don't get annoyed, but we only spent like, you know, a minute and a half on it, so it's okay. Okay, so what we're doing today is Merit makeup review. So Merit is a new-ish, it's been around for a couple of months now, vegan makeup line. It is completely vegan, which I like. I like to see, you know, brands coming out that are completely vegan, whether they're skincare or makeup. I just think it's so needed in this space. There's too many companies that still use carmine, and even though I still use beeswax and honey, it is nice to have an entirely vegan, you know, line that I have no issues, you know, recommending anything to you guys, because I know that, you know, my channel name is vegan. A lot of people are still confused why sometimes I call myself vegan, but I still use beeswax and honey. But it's nice that, you know, there's some fully vegan lines that are like launching. There's a lot of them launching right now. So Merit is a fully vegan line. It's cruelty-free. I think they're going for, I don't know, like minimal luxury chic. I have no idea what they're going for. I really liked the aesthetic of the packaging on a lot of these products, and I was really interested to try them. So Merit did send me most of what I have here, but I did buy a couple of other extra shades myself. So they sent me one of each product, and then I went out and bought 2 more of the blush pods and one more of the lip glosses, because I wasn't totally crazy about the shades that I got. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just like the shades that I got, that you know, the feelings that I had for the products, or if it was just like the products themselves. So we'll get into all this. So we're gonna demo, we're gonna, you know, show the makeup. So my skin is having a little bit of a hard time, though sometimes when I come on camera, it doesn't totally look like it, but it is better today than it's been. I did break out pretty badly. I had some sugar. That always affects me for at least like 2 weeks. We're in like the down cycle of it now. So it was really bad last week. Now we're sort of healing and we're getting better. But this is also sort of like a good time to show you the coverage of it, because I've got some, you know, I've got some hyperpigmentation here. Do I have anything active? I'm not really sure, but mostly my acne is like in this area. And that's really where my hyperpigmentation like occurs anyway. Oh, I do have some stuff over here. But I mean, it sort of like looks worse earlier in the day, and then like when I do my skincare, it doesn't look as bad. Or like when I get on camera and I say, oh, my skin's having a hard time, and then I look at it and I'm like, it's not that bad, but I perceive it to be bad sometimes. So let's get into this. Let's start talking about the makeup. So there are 7 products in total in the line. There are 6 makeup products and 1 sort of like applicator product, which is their brush. So we're gonna go over everything. I'm gonna demo it all, and then I'm gonna tell you what is worth your money and what isn't. What I would recommend to you guys and what I would recommend you just stay far, far away from. All right, so let's start with the foundation, which also doubles as the concealer. So this is the Minimalist Perfecting Complexion Stick. So this comes in 20 shades. Here is, you just roll it up, it's just a little tiny stick. It comes in 20 shades and it's 3.7 grams, which I looked at all of the stick foundations that are in the clean green, natural, conscious, sustainable, whatever you want to call it, beauty, whatever word doesn't offend you. I looked at all of the options that are out there for ones that I would use and recommend. There are like 5 in the space that, you know, have ingredient standards that I am okay with. And this is the smallest of all of them. Most of them are around 7 to 9 grams. This one is 3.7, so it is the smallest. So they describe it as a lightweight hydrating formula that wears throughout the day without settling into fine lines. It's got buildable light to medium coverage. It's got sea daffodil extract that helps diminish the appearance of pigmentation and dark spots. Fatty acids condition skin and lock in moisture. It also says it is designed for all over coverage, so you can make small edits only where you need them. Formulated in partnership with an esthetician whose no list includes another 72 potentially acne triggering ingredients that we eliminate. So they're EU compliant, which means they're free from over 1,400 potentially unsafe ingredients, Leaping Buddy certified. And then the component is made with 43% recycled plastic and ships in our signature shipment packaging that is either recyclable, reusable, or compostable. I'm not sure what they're talking about. I didn't save my packaging, the shipper. I just have the, you know, the box packaging. So I don't really remember what it came shipped in actually. And did I say it comes in 20 shades? It does, it comes in 20 shades. So let's apply this. I'm gonna apply it as a foundation first, and then I'll go in as like the concealer. So I've tried most of the stick foundations that are out there in like the clean green space. You know, there's Au Naturel, there is Plain Jane Beauty, there is this one, there is Vapor, which isn't vegan, that's the only non-vegan one. And then there's the Westman Atelier, which I know a lot of people have tried. That one is the most expensive. I mean, it does have a lot of product in it, but it is, I mean, I feel like that line is ridiculously overpriced. But, so that's probably one that I'll not be trying. But of the ones that I've tried, this one is my favorite in terms of coverage and how my skin looks and how it wears throughout the day. I should have done one side first over the other so you can see side by side, but I'll do a side by side once I'm done here so you can see sort of like the finish of my skin. So it's really easy to blend in. I really love the brush. So this is their one brush. It's vegan fibers, it's $30. I think the brush is fantastic. I use it for all of the color products. I use it for the highlighter, I use it for the blushes. So I sort of use it as like a one and done brush. This really is like a minimal line in terms of like you don't need, you know, like you need the one brush and you don't need like anything else unless you're doing, you know, like eye makeup or whatever, which I'm not doing today. So there is one layer of the foundation, and even with my skin breaking out and being pretty pigmented, I'm still pretty happy with the coverage. Like I have a little bit of redness peeking through, which will go over just a little bit. And so we're gonna sort of do like concealer here. So I'm gonna do the eye area. The outside and the inside is sort of like where my most discoloration occurs, and like around my nose. We're gonna do a second layer on the chin because that's where my pigmentation is the most. Like there's a couple of areas here where my skin's sort of a little bit more broken, so it's not gonna cover 100%. But honestly, I don't mind because the rest of my skin looks so good. Even with my skin breaking out, I really love the way that this foundation looks on my skin. The thing about it though, it does need to be powdered because it is pretty sort of like dewy. And for me, I just prefer to set it. I've worn it unset and then I've worn it set and I just prefer it set. And there's a powder that sort of like works really beautifully with it. So, works really well to conceal. And I just feel like my skin looks really beautiful. Even though it is the smallest, I feel like I don't need a lot to get the coverage that I want. I don't have to build it up a ton. Even when my skin is breaking out and I have a lot of pigmentation, I don't have to go over it too many times. I just sort of like go over it in a little bit of the areas where it's a little bit more red. But for the most part, it completely evens out my skin. It gives me like a really beautiful finish. My skin just looks like natural, but like my complexion has been evened out. So I know that I've seen some people who've got more drier skin say that this accentuates texture and it just doesn't work for them. So, I mean, maybe it's designed more for people who have oilier skin or, you know, in mind. I'm not really sure, but usually stick foundations don't work on me because I am like oilier and I have more acne prone skin, and stick foundations in general just don't have the best coverage. And this one for me is my favorite and the one that I like the most. Because it works so well with my skin. You know, as long as I set it, it doesn't settle into my lines when I don't set it, because I have such deep forehead lines, they do tend to settle. That's really the only place anything ever settles on me, is like in these lines. It's because, you know, I do this and, you know, stuff gets stuck up there because I have such deep forehead lines, which, I mean, sometimes they bother me, but I try not to let them bother me too much. But in general, I just think this is really beautiful. And this combo right here, the brush and the foundation, are like the two products from the line that I would recommend over anything else, because I just think that they're wonderful. So I'm just gonna powder this real quick with the Kosas Cloud Set powder, which I find just to be a really beautiful companion to this foundation, because it leaves a bit of the luminosity and just like mattifies it just like the tiniest bit. So it's not, you know, I'm not looking overly shiny. It sets it from, you know, it's settling into my deep forehead lines. I just do need to go over. I need a second brush for my under eyes, so we can get the shine out from under there, so it doesn't look like I have like water pooled under there. So I do really love it. I do think you need a powder with it. Otherwise it's just gonna look, it's too luministic, too much lume. How do you say that? It's too lumonic. None of those are words. It's just, there's too much luminosity when I don't set it, and I just prefer it set. Because it just looks, look at it, it just looks so beautiful. Even with my skin, you know, looking like a mess, it still looks beautiful. And there's not a lot of cream or liquid foundations that I can say do that, because most just, they accentuate the acne, they accentuate the texture, they don't cover as well as I would like. I just, when I'm having a breakout, I tend to stick to powder products because you can get better coverage with powder products than with liquid. But I feel like even when I'm breaking out, this is still a great foundation. It still makes my skin look really great. It evens out my skin tone. Honestly, I love that foundation. And even though it is the smallest and then by therefore is the most expensive, because if you were to buy two of these to match the amount that is in like any other stick foundation that's out there, it ends up being more expensive than even the Westman Atelier one, I think. I forget how much that one is. So, but 38 times 2 is what, 76? 70, well, whatever it is, 76, I think. I still really like it because I feel like this will last me a long time. I can use it as foundation and concealer. I don't have to buy two separate products, and it just gives me beautiful coverage. So I can't complain too much. So I love that. I think it's gonna depend on your skin, because I know some people have said that they don't like that, but for me, that works really, really well. It looks beautiful all day long. You know, it doesn't accentuate, let's see if we can get in here. It doesn't accentuate the texture on my acne, But you know, for broken skin, it doesn't cover it 100%, which I don't expect anything to, but there's nothing, my skin just looks, it just looks really good. Okay, so we've foundationed, we've concealed, and we've powdered. They don't have a powder. This definitely is not mask friendly. So if you want to wear this and you have to wear a mask, it definitely is going to transfer to the mask. Even if you powder it, it's that kind of formula. It just is not going to set. It's not super matte, so it's going to rub off on, you know, your clothes or whatever. I hope that one day we are at a place where we don't have to wear masks and that's not even an issue. I feel like it's kind of ridiculous that we even have to worry about things like, is this mask proof at this moment in time? But hopefully one day when, if you are someone who wears a mask and this is a concern and you know, you want to wear makeup, but you don't know what you can wear, I definitely would skip this one, at least for now. You know, maybe wear it on days where you're just home alone or you're out and about, but you're like with family or whatever. I don't know, wherever you don't wear a mask. So yeah, so that's that. So the next thing that they've got that we'll talk about are the Flush Balm cheek colors. This actually has more product in it than the foundation does. This is 9 grams, whereas the foundation was 3.7. I just think that's an odd choice. But I mean, what do I know? Let's see, how much does the highlighter have? The highlighter even has more, it's got 4 grams. I don't understand that, at least. I mean, why couldn't you make a foundation that's got a little bit more product in it? But I mean, yeah, I know that that's gonna turn some people off as the price of the foundation versus the, you know, the amount in it. But for me, I mean, the finish of it and how beautiful it looks on my skin just sort of like trumps that. I will just take it. So the Flush Balms are 9 grams and they're $28 each. They do have 5 colors. I do have 3 of them. I went and bought Beverly Hills and Terra Cotta after I tried Raspberry Beret, and I do prefer these 2 colors. It also comes in sort of like another nude shade and another sort of like, almost sort of like brown berry shade. So I went and I picked up Terra Cotta because there is no bronzer in this collection, and I do like to bronze my skin just even sort of a little bit. So I did go ahead and pick up the Terra Cotta shade, which is like a warm cream is what they describe it as, but because I'm fair and light fair, I can use this as a bronzer. So I do like to pick this up with the brush because it is sort of like a brownie, it's a brownie shade, and it just sort of makes just like a light, sort of like natural looking bronze. So that's what I like to do with this, because I do like to have some kind of bronzer when I wear makeup. It's kind of funny because like I never used bronzer before, and then like, you know, now I'm like all into it. Now I love bronzer. I have like so many bronzers. So I just really put this in, I just minimally put it. I don't do a ton, but I do enough to sort of like bring a little bit of color back into the face. Just a little. So I do like these, but if I were to pick any cream, sort of like cheek color, this wouldn't necessarily be my first choice. I just think there are other cheek colors out there that are more pigmented, longer lasting, because I don't feel like these are the most long lasting formulas in existence. And they are sort of they're very natural, minimal looking. Like they're not, you know, super like bam in your face. But for blushes, I do typically prefer, you know, rich, sort of like deep, not deep, but what am I trying to say? Pigmented blush colors is what I typically go for. So and then I do just do a little bit the cheeks and the nose to sort of make it look like I have seen sun and gotten some natural vitamin D, which I haven't. I probably should get outside before it starts to get too hot out. But I don't know that that's likely to happen. Sort of become like a hermit. So that's that one. That's Terra Cotta. And then we're gonna go in with the blush. So like again, see, I use the brush for the foundation and for this, and it works really well. And then I just go right into the blush color that I like, and this one's Beverly Hills. Which is sort of like a light pink. And again, it's just sort of like like a light flush of color. It's not very pigmented. which is sort of what we're going for today. We're going for like a light, well, it sort of like matches my shirt. It does. It's like the same color as my shirt. That seems to be like a subconscious choice I seem to always make, is to like match my clothing to something that I am doing in a video that day. And I do a little bit up on my forehead and then across my nose, just to sort of like bring it all together. I mean, it is pretty. It's a pretty flush of color. It is a pretty formula, but it's not, I mean, if you are someone who likes your makeup to be pretty minimal, you want it to just look like natural skin, only just like a tiny bit enhanced, I mean, maybe this is something that you would really enjoy, but for someone who likes more pigmented products, who likes the hot pinks and the corals and, you know, those kinds of colors, like this isn't something that I wouldn't immediately pick this up. But it is, again, it's a beautiful formula. It does make the skin just look really nice. And the combination that I've got of the two, the Beverly Hills and the Terra Cotta, I do really like. I mean, I do look sort of like natural, like I'm on vacation and I've seen some sun and my skin is like nice and healthy. But would I pick this blush formula over, say, like Tower 28 or the Alima Pure blushes? No. So, I mean, plus you get more for your money with those because, well, not Tower 28, because Tower 28 is not, I mean, Tower 28 is affordable. I think those are what? Those are $22. The Alima Pure ones, I forget how much they are. They're in the $20 range. But what I love about Alima Pure is that they're refillable. So you pay for like the packaging once and then you pay for the refills, you know, after that. So that's more sustainable. These are definitely not refillable. Are they even recyclable? I don't know. So if that's a concern, I don't even know how you dispose of this properly because there's no way to sort of like take the product out of there. So if you're into sustainability, I would skip, you know, every other product because they're not refillable. I don't even know how you recycle these if you can. I mean, you get a lot of product, you get 9 grams, so you sort of like get a lot for your money, but I don't know. They're not my favorite. They're not my favorite formula. But in terms of like colors, they're definitely not my favorite and not my first choice. So the next thing that we've got here is the Day Glow Highlighting Balm. This is $30 and it's 4 grams, so slightly more product than the foundation. This is described as a translucent moisturizing highlighter that illuminates skin for that fresh morning dewdrop on a flower petal sheen. Oddly descriptive. So I mean, the formula of this, because it is translucent, it is more of sort of like it's like oilier and there's not a ton of pigment. So I'm not usually the biggest fan of these like oily sort of formulas. Like Tower 28 has one that's literally just like a clear sort of like gloss for your face, which I just find kind of annoying. I definitely would not recommend that product to anybody. I feel like this is kind of the same thing because it sort of gives that sort of like just sort of like dewy look without it looking like an actual, I don't know. I know that it seems like a lot of people seem to love this. I'm not totally sold on it just because it is more of like an oily formula. And I'm not, like I said, the biggest fan of like these oilier formulas. Does it give you sort of that like fresh looking wet skin? I mean, yeah. But again, not my first choice of like a highlighter product just because it is kind of more oily than, I don't know. I don't like my face to look like wet, like highlighted like it's wet, but I like it to look like there's like an actual highlighter. And I feel like this just sort of like is highlighted to look like it's wet. I don't know though. I think I'm probably in the minority on that one because it seems like a lot of people really like this formula. But for me, I think it's a little bit too oily. But I mean, you be the judge of what you think of the, the finish of it. Okay, so the Brow 1980 Volumizing Pomade comes in 3 shades. Since it's a nod to the brows of the 80s, this pomade adds color and volume for healthy, fluffy arches. It's a tinted, flexible pomade, shapes and grooms your brows into place for natural, bold arches. I don't really feel like this is that much of a different formula than you know, a lot of other brow formulas that are on the market. I don't really feel like it does anything that much differently. It does have sort of like a bigger wand, like a bigger brush head than a lot of brow products that are, you know, out there. So again, like I said, this comes in 3 shade. I do have the medium, right? I have brown. Well, which shade do I have? They have blonde, brown, and then they have soft black. So I have brown, which is like the medium brown shade. So, I mean, in terms of brow gels, brow pomade, I wouldn't really call this a pomade though, because pomades are more of like pot, you know? This is more like a brow gel. It gives me, again, like nice natural looking brows without looking too overdone. They don't look like I've put too much product in them. But do I think this is revolutionary by any means? I mean, no. But it does give me nice sort of like soft, natural looking brows. I mean, I guess like the way that I brushed it, it kind of looks fluffier, but I'm also brushing them sort of like up to make them appear that way. But it's not like sticky. Like it doesn't feel like I'm putting hairspray into my hair, which there is one formula that I've tried recently that feels like that. Not a fan of that formula. Once this dries, it just feels like nothing, which I prefer. I don't want my brow formula to feel like I am putting, you know, anything sticky in my brows. So there's the brows. Just like nice and natural. I mean, the color match is a good match for me. Woo, almost dropped it. I mean, I guess the kind of way I did it today, they do kind of look like sort of like Boulder. Maybe that's what they mean. I don't know. I haven't really noticed that, you know, doing it any other time, but maybe I just did it subconsciously to make them look sort of like bolder and fluffier. Anyway, I do like that, and that's probably my second favorite product from the line. I really love the foundation. I guess third, because I really love the brush, and that's, you know, from the line. And then I would say that the brow product is like in my top three products. Okay, so then the last thing for the face before we get to lips is the mascara. So this is the Clean Lash Lengthening Mascara. It's your go-to mascara for every day. It tints, lengthens, and lifts lashes with no smudging ever. So it does say it has proprietary tubing technology that wraps and defines each lash. I didn't actually know when I first tried this. I didn't look at the description. I just ordered, you know, I just picked whatever because they sent this one to me. I did not know that it was like tubing mascara, and I have never used a tubing formula in my life. So I had no idea like the proper way to remove it. I was going over it with like oil cleansers and like other, you know, micellar waters and things like that to try to break it down. It doesn't break down the way that like a normal mascara would. So it took me a little while to sort of like figure out the removal process of it. So it is a tubing mascara, if you've ever tried that, or you're familiar with like how to remove those. So it defines, separates, and lengthens for a wide awake look, made to distribute the perfect amount of product. Our precise brush curls and lifts as never clumps or flakes. So here is what the wand on that looks like. Just pretty standard, nothing, again, too revolutionary. This does take some building up. I think by the time I'm like usually pretty happy with it, I've done like 2 or 3 coats. I'm trying to do this so you guys can see. So here is one coat on one eye versus the other. So let's do this other eye. Got some, need to powder the tops of my eyelids apparently. Keep the foundation from like creeping up there. I have pretty oily eyelids. So, I mean, I do like the look of this mascara. It's, again, I mean, it's not one that I would reach for first. Like, there are other mascaras that I do like better than this that give me sort of like fluttery, like the Vapor mascara is, I mean, one of my favorite formulas. It just gives me nice, such fluttery, just like lightly volumized, lengthened lashes. I feel like this, I don't know, aside from it being like way too hard for me to remove, because I don't want to fiddle. I'll clean that up in a little bit. I don't want to fiddle with my mascara at the end of the night. I just want to remove it. You know, I don't really worry about stuff flaking, you know, so much. I mean, it's kind of annoying, but like I'm at home. I could just go into the bathroom and just like, you know, brush it down my face. That's not the main concern to me. And it does a pretty good job. I mean, I have occasionally found some flakes, you know, just like little ones throughout the day. And I don't wear it on my bottom lashes. I'm not a mascara on the bottom lashes kind of person. So this is 2 coats versus 1. So like I said, I have never tried a tubing mascara before, so I really can't compare this to anything. I do kind of feel like it makes my lashes look a bit like spidery though, like the more I put on, which isn't like the best look. I don't know, if you don't get too close, it doesn't look too bad, but like when you get too close, I feel like they just look a little bit too spidery. But anyway, again, so this is not a formula that I would rebuy. It's not really one that I would recommend. I mean, I guess unless you really like tubing mascaras. I'm not the biggest fan of tubing mascaras. I would prefer a mascara that I really don't have to fuss with to get it to remove. I'm not really concerned with like, I don't know, like there are so many formulas that I've tried that don't flake or smudge. That's usually not a concern because I just don't find that to be an issue with most of the mascaras that I try. Again, it's going to be sort of different for everybody because there are some people that say that they've tried a mascara that smudges or flakes for them that I've never had that issue with. So it really just sort of depends on, you know, each individual person. It's going to depend on person to person. This is not my favorite. I would not rebuy this. I just, like, it looks okay, but it's a pain in the butt to remove because you feel like remove it. It says remove it with warm water, but it takes longer. I feel like I rub it my eye more, which I'm just like not about. Like I don't want to do that. So not my favorite. I really wouldn't recommend it. Sort of depends on how you feel though. So the last thing is the Shade Slick Tinted Lip Oils, which come in 4 colors. It's a slick of sheer color infused with rosehip oil and shea butter for healthy lips all day. Somewhere between an oil and a light stain, it's made for whenever and wherever. So it's got like rosehip, shea, jojoba. They sent me the shade Pink Beat, which is this pink shade, and then I bought Au Naturel because I thought I might like that one better. I sort of feel the way about these that I feel about the Ilia tinted lip oils. The formula is very thin and yeah, it just does feel like a street oil. So because it is a thinner formula, it's not the longest lasting. They don't feel like cushiony or sort of like pillowy. I don't really feel that my lips are being sort of like nurtured by them, which I do like. I think I tried the Pink Beat in that, well I did because it was the first impressions where this is the only color that I had. I do like it better with the pinker blush. When I tried it with the Raspberry Beret, I just really didn't like the color at all. And I think the colors, I mean, they're not anything special. They're sort of like standard colors, right? You know, it's a pink and there's sort of like the Marrakesh color, which is what, a little bit more Terra Cotta, I'm not really sure. And then there's like the Au Natural one, which is, I can swatch it for you guys here, which is sort of like, you know, like a nude-ish, I guess, versus the Pink Beat, which is more of like a pink, or it's like a peach. It's sort of like a, not nude necessarily, but like a warm peach, I guess. So these are the 2 colors I have. And I mean, again, they're not the formula that I reach for. I sort of like more cushiony formulas like the In Beauty Project lip oils or the Fit Glow lip serums, you know, the Kosas tinted lip oils are much more cushiony and like plush on my lips. These I just throw in sort of like the same category as the Ilia tinted lip oils. I just don't like the formula. It's not, I like for it to feel more nourishing to my lips, right? This one just feels oily. You know, it doesn't last a terribly long time. It doesn't make my lips, you know, the condition of them any better. So, in conclusion, what do I think is worth your coin? What would I say go out and spend your money on if you were looking for something in this category? Really, that would just come down to the foundation stick, because I think in the category that it's in, you know, like vegan, cruelty-free, you know, cleaner ingredients, I do think this one performs the best. It has the best coverage, the best finish on my skin anyway. I know that that's, again, going to depend on, you know, each individual person. Because I've mixed reviews. Some people love it, some people don't love it so much. But for me, this is a formula that I really, really, really have fallen in love with. It just makes my skin look really good. I do kind of feel like I want to like take the shine of that blush down a little bit, because there's definitely a little bit more shine since I added the color cosmetics. But it does need to be set for sure, at least on my skin. I cannot wear this without a powder because it just looks too luminous, too wet. And I'm not about that. I'm not really liking that right now. So even though this is technically sort of like the most expensive stick product on the market because you're getting less product for it or in it, I mean, you hardly have to use any. Like this is rolled all the way down. I haven't even had to roll it up yet. I mean, I've rolled it up to use it a little bit. So if you want to see like just how much product is in here, I can roll it all the way up for you. So this is the amount of product that's in here. But even with regular use, because you don't need a ton, at least I don't. I mean, I guess it depends on how full of a coverage that you want, but if this is like a light to medium coverage, you only need one swipe all over the face. I could see this lasting quite a while. So, I mean, the price and the amount don't really bother me because the finish and, you know, the look of my skin just kind of blew me away. I also then think the brush to go with it. I have not tried this foundation with any other brush because I think it just performs so well with this brush. But I mean, any sort of like buffing brush, you're probably gonna get the same result from. I just haven't tried it yet because I've really enjoyed using this. Plus I've been testing it. So I do think this makes a really great pair. I think of the products in the line, this is the best performing, the best, you know, looking. I like those the best. And then like my number 3 would be the brow product. Though I think if you have a brow product that you like, I don't think this is anything revolutionary. It just does, it gives nice natural looking filled in lash, or brows, not lashes, hello. I mean, I enjoy it. So what I don't recommend you spend your money on is the lip oils for sure. Just not a very cushiony formula. I'm already starting to feel it sort of like wear off my lips. Because the lip oils that feel more like oils, I do tend to just, you know, go like this more, which wears them off faster, just to sort of like force a habit. So I don't like those. They don't come in enough shades to really make it unique. And the shades that they do have are nothing special. So I would skip those, save your money. I would also save your money on the blush pods. What are they? The cheek colors. Again, I just feel like they're sort of basic colors. If you like more minimal looking products and you don't like really sort of like bold and pigmented products, I mean, they might, you know, it might be what you're looking for, but for someone who likes more pigmented stuff, I just don't think that these are anything super special. And like, they don't have a bronzer, so I sort of like finagled a bronzer with one of their shades that's not really meant to be a bronzer, but for people with lighter fair skin, it can be a bronzer. Again, not gonna work for all skin tones unless, you know, until they release a bronzer. But I would just skip them. I just think that there are better cream formulas out there. You know, ones that you can refill, more sustainable. I just don't think those are special enough for you to spend your money on. And then the other, this too. So I'm just like not crazy about this highlighter stick. It just isn't what I like in a highlighter. It just isn't what I prefer in a highlighter. But again, if you're looking for something that is more natural, is sort of like that wet looking, you know, thing, I mean, maybe you would love this, but I mean, that's not really my jam. Not really. Plus it's kind of oily. I'm just not crazy about the formula. And then the last thing that isn't for me, maybe you love this, I don't know. Maybe the things that I haven't loved the most, you've been like, what? How could you? Is the mascara. Again, I don't think it's like a revolutionary formula. I haven't tried any other tubing mascara, so I don't know how it compares, but it's a pain in the butt to remove if you're someone who doesn't like to rub at your eyes or... But I mean, if you're familiar with tubing mascaras and you know how to remove them, maybe that doesn't bother you. But for me, it takes way too long to remove it, and it just is a pain in the ass. So I probably won't even wear this again after this video, honestly. And it almost does look too spidery for me. Plus they're kind of like crunchy. I have other formulas that are just like much more flexible and they don't feel so stiff. It's personal preference. So I would definitely save your money on the cheek, highlighter, lip, and mascara. And this is sort of like where I would give these products a shot, because I do think that, I mean this especially, I just think this is like such a great foundation. I mean, you saw it apply, you saw what it covered, you saw the finish of my skin. You know, we can look at it again. There's no texture anywhere. I just really love the way my skin looks. So that is what I think is worth it and what isn't from Merit. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful to see the products applied, hear my thoughts on all of them. So that's all that I've got for this video. I hope that it was helpful to see everything applied, see how it looked on my skin, you know, what it covered and like the finishes of everything. So yeah, that's really all that I've got. Let me know your thoughts if you've tried Merit, if you totally disagree with me on any of the things that I wouldn't recommend, or if you don't, or if you do agree with me. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts if you're planning on picking anything up. They are available at Sephora and of course on the Merit website. I don't think that they're sold anywhere else, but I also haven't really looked. I just do know that they're available at Sephora. I did order from Sephora when I placed my order, and it definitely was a lot faster than when Merit sent it to me. Though I guess to be fair, when Merit sent me the package, it was in the middle of that winter storm in like the middle of February, but it took a month to leave the warehouse. Like, I feel like that was a little strange. Like the shipping was just kind of crazy. I haven't ordered from Merit again. I probably will not. I guess I'll just sort of see like what they release in the future, but I can see this stick foundation becoming like the one stick foundation that I like keep in my arsenal, I guess. I'm not a makeup artist, so I don't really have like a kit. So my collection, I guess, I don't know, but I really love that. I've worn that so much and I just really love the finish of it. So that's everything that I've got for this video. I hoped you had fun hanging out with me and putting on some makeup. Again, if you want to chat, let's chat in the comments. And if you don't, then you won't. But thank you guys for being here, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.